Hey guys, welcome back. King Dro here. So today I'm going to be showing you how to farm element dust on Extinction with a Doed. First thing you're going to need is an RG with weight and a Dodecarus with either weight or melee. It could be a tamed one or it could be a bred one. Either one will work. This is the first location that I will be showing you. It is one of the clusters on the map. There are many areas that you can farm element dust on Extinction. Any of the light posts will give you dust. Now, this little area has like tables. Those are the best, in my opinion. There's like 5 or 6 of them on the map, and they yield the most in a short amount of time. Yes, you can fly around and collecting all the lampposts, but that takes a lot of time. So I'm basically just showing you the fastest way. This is a bred Dodecarus. It's a very old one, but I leveled it purely in melee because I'm using the RG to carry most of the weight. Now, in the small clusters, it's better to do all melee, and then there is another technique for farming dust on the lampposts that you will need all weight, and I will show you that later on in the video. So this is official, and it's on 1x currently, so you can see how much you can get on 1x. Now, because official rates do sometimes go up to 2x quite often, you could see that this is a decent way for a new player to get a fair amount of dust. Now, certainly you can take dust gachas, make a huge tower or whatever, and get a lot more element dust at a much more efficient way. However, this is mostly for people who are newer, who don't maybe have gacha dust ones yet, or they're just starting out in general. This is a great way to get a good amount of dust, which you can turn into element, or you can use it for buying dinos or trading or whatever. And the nice part about dust is you can actually transfer it between servers. So once you're done farming this cluster, I generally will just pot up the Doed and then I fly to the next section. Now from here, it's pretty close to the next area, so that's why I showed you the one that I did first, because it's pretty close to. Actually, all the areas that I'm showing you are fairly close. I take an RG the whole time flying, and the whole process for me takes about 15-20 minutes max doing it solo. Now, certainly, if you were to use a skiff or something, obviously, if you're a newer player, you wouldn't have a skiff anyway, generally. So, if you're newer, you're probably going to be using an RG. So, it kind of gives you an idea of how long this takes. You can also see that these tables give lots of crystal, electronics, and scrap metal. So, for a newer player, this is a great way to start off, especially for PvP, even because crystal and early metal and also the electronics for making turrets and such, this is a very easy way to do it. Now, sometimes, depending on the server that you're on, some people do build in these areas that I'm showing you, and you can have them blocked, meaning they don't respawn because they've built on top of them. So that part kind of sucks, but on my server, people generally have pillared around them so people can't build on them, so that part's nice. Alright, so this is like the third spot. It's up on a high rise on like a kind of a tall skyscraper. It's not too far from that first location. So I just took my RG. I did cut the video ahead, so you wouldn't have to see me flying. But I do post the. You could see the coordinates here on the map also. With 2 players, this would be a lot easier. Obviously, sometimes even like if you're a more advanced player, probably a skiff Doed combination would be really good. You can probably clear out the nodes much faster. But I did notice, which probably most people who've played there before have noticed, that the hitboxes on these tables and lampposts are kind of finicky, so you have to be just in the right spot to hit them. Some of them, it's like such a pain to hit them. It's not almost not even worth wasting your time. But the ones that I'm showing you, for the most part, are fairly easy to farm. So. So after I farm all of these areas that I'm showing you, on 1x I generally get about anywhere between 15 and 17,000 dust, which is, 15, 17 element. Doesn't sound like a lot, sure, but for a newer player who's just getting going, it's a fair amount. And honestly, it only took me about 15, 20 minutes to farm anyway. So if you came back like, every 2 hours or something like that and farmed it, after a little while, it's actually not bad at all. And this is how I used to do it when Extinction first came out and the whole element thing was still kind of new for Dust. So this is a really nice way to, get a Dust early on. All right, so I'm going to fly to the next area. Now from that skyscraper, if you look kind of down toward the red obelisk, you'll see this big dome that looks like a stadium, coliseum kind of thing. That is a very common area for a terminal that everybody generally knows about. But there is a very nice cluster of tables there, and that's the next spot that I'm going to be going to. This is probably like the most well-known spot for tables to farm on Extinction. I think everybody generally knows this area, but it is also a very good area. During the 2x and even higher than that, generally this area is always farmed because people just, take advantage of the higher multipliers. You can see how quickly you get encumbered in crystal so fast, so that's why having the weight on an RG would be very important. Also because dust is kind of heavy anyway, so. This spot is not too far from that last area that I showed you. I just fast forwarded a little bit here, but there is a terminal here, so this is actually a nice spot if you wanted to farm the other ones first, and then if you get to this last one, hopefully your timer will be ready, and you can actually transfer the dust off if you needed to. This area generally has more around here, but it looks like somebody could have farmed it more recently, but there's generally more tables here, but it looks like some of them are missing. But I'm just going to still show you. Make sure you get the lampposts around this area. They give quite a bit, so I always make sure I get those lampposts. So you could see after farming these last few clusters from the start to about now, I have roughly close to 15k. Wasn't too terrible. So I think now I'm going to show you the next way to farm. These are the most clusters that I generally will hit. So here we go. Now in this next area up ahead, we're going to farm the other way that you can farm dust. You're going to need an RG with weight and a dodecarus and nothing but weight. When the dodecarus is not ridden, it will auto harvest nodes that are near it up until it reaches 50% or so of its weight. So the more weight it has, the longer you can farm. Once it stops auto harvesting, you have to land and then you have to empty out whatever it is inside of them. All right, so this Dodecarus was a very generic one. It wasn't very special. I don't even think it was very good stats to begin with, but I leveled it all in weight. All right, so what you want to do is you want to carry the Dodecarus, and the trick is learning the sweet spot. And you can see it's kind of lower in the center here. He will auto harvest it. It just sometimes you have to move a little bit. There you go. So he harvested it. So then you go to the next lamppost, and he will do it again. Sometimes it takes a few tries until you've gotten it down. Now, if you didn't know, when you are using an RG or any flyer, actually, if on the keyboard, if you're playing on PC, if you push the X key, it will actually stop the flyer from moving, which is which makes it very nice for wanting to stop in a quick second. So you try to get it in the right angle, and then you basically just hit X to stop, and hopefully you will get it down. Now, sometimes it does take a few trips, like meaning like it takes a few tries to get it right. But if once you've mastered this, you can actually farm very fast on these lampposts, and there's literally endless amounts, so you can farm for quite a while. It is a little tedious, sure, and it does take a little practice to get it down. So once you reach about 50% of the Dodecarus's weight, you actually have to land, drop it, and then empty out all the goodies, and then basically rinse and repeat. There are tons and tons of lampposts, so you can farm for however long you want, but now you get the gist of the mechanic of how to do it. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope that me showing you how to farm element dust on Extinction was helpful, and I will be doing more videos hopefully sooner again. Thanks for all the support, the likes and the comments. I really appreciate it. I did hit 100 subs this past week, so please keep it coming, and I'll see you guys next time.